ये ऑन करो, अब आ रहा है? ओके, सॉरी। ओके, तो another force will act away from the center. What happened? Hello. Then a force which will act towards the center is known as centripetal, and a force which will act away from the center is known as centrifugal. So towards the center centripetal and away from center centrifugal. So just remember, listen. In case of circular motion, there are two quantity we have to learn. One is linear quantity, another one is angular quantity. So there is relation between linear and angular. There is relation between linear and angular. You know what is U? U is initial velocity, linear initial velocity. Initial velocity. Understood? And what is V? Final velocity. Final velocity. But both are linear quantity. Both are linear quantity. So one another symbol is omega. So omega is angular velocity. Angular velocity. Angular velocity. Listen. So what is difference between linear and angular? So linear motion means motion in a straight line. Okay. Consider an object is moving linearly with velocity v. So this motion is known as linear motion. And when object will move on a circular track, consider linear velocity of that object is v, right? And centripetal force is acting towards the center. So object will not move towards the center, neither move towards the center nor move along the linear velocity. So object will move in which direction? Resultant of both. Resultant of both. And resultant will be in this direction. Yes or no? Just consider resultant will be in this direction. Again, at that point, force will act towards the center. Again, object will neither move towards the center nor along the linear velocity, direction of linear velocity. Again, object will move in resultant direction, right? And that will make a perfect circle. And that type of motion is known as circular motion. Just consider, in this case, when object will move from one point to another point, right? This point is point B, final point, and this point is point A, initial point. So whatever displacement is nothing but what? S means you can say S is nothing but displacement. You know displacement? Okay. So displacement is S, means shortest path length between initial point to final point. Understood? So displacement is S. But what you are observing here, when object will make a circle or move on a circular track, object is making angle. Means just consider this is the initial point and at time t, this is the final point. So object is making angle theta, right? Yes. So theta is nothing but what? Angular displacement. Theta is nothing but what? Angular displacement. So listen, you S or X, symbol of linear displacement is, sometimes you can write S, sometimes you can write x. So x is linear displacement. Linear displacement. And what about y? Y is, oh sorry, theta. What is theta? Theta is angular displacement. Understood? So just remember this symbol. Linear velocity will be replaced by angular velocity. Linear displacement will be replaced by angular displacement. So means you can say कि linear velocity v will replaced by angular velocity omega. Linear displacement x will replaced by theta. Very good. Linear acceleration a is linear acceleration. Linear acceleration. And alpha is angular acceleration. Right? So alpha is angular acceleration, a is linear acceleration. So linear acceleration will replaced by alpha in angular motion, right? And linear motion symbol is a. In angular motion symbol is alpha. In linear motion symbol is x or linear displacement. And in angular motion symbol is theta. In linear motion v. And angular motion omega. Okay. Now next, relation between linear motion and angular motion. Relation between linear quantity and angular quantity. Relation between linear quantity and angular quantity. Listen. Linear quantity is equal to r times angular quantity. Means what? No. R is radius. R is radius. Right? So R is radius. Understood? So means you can write linear quantity is equal to r times angular quantity. Okay? You can prove this also, but we will learn directly. So linear quantity. So just consider linear displacement is x, right? So linear displacement is equal to what? R times angular displacement, right? Linear displacement is equal to r times angular displacement. And linear velocity is equal to r times angular velocity. Linear acceleration is equal to r times angular acceleration. Yes or no? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Always remember, you can convert linear into angular and angular into linear, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is important. Listen. If you have to calculate omega, what you can write? Very good. V by R. Okay. So if you have linear quantity and you want to convert in angular quantity, so that linear quantity will be divided by radius. And if you want to convert angular quantity into linear, just multiply angular quantity with radius. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Noted? Clear?
Sir.
Next, listen. Now, hence, listen, centripetal force is equal to mv square upon r. This is the formula for centripetal. So centripetal force is equal to mv square upon r. M is mass, v is velocity, r is radius, right? So first formula you can write centripetal force is equal to mv square by r. Listen, another formula. But v is equal to what?
V equal to
R omega. So hence v square can be written as
R omega square.
R square omega square. R omega ka whole square is nothing but what?
Square.
R square omega square is equal to v square. So if you want to write centripetal force formula in terms of angular velocity, then what you can write? Mass will be same as it is m, right? V square means you can write R square omega square. R square omega square. Understood? Upon what?
Upon
R. R square or simply R. This R will come here, na?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So cancel R. One R will be cancelled. So what will be remaining term? MR omega square. Understood? So hence another formula for centripetal force is equal to what? M R omega square. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
You know formula of linear velocity? Formula of linear velocity? Linear velocity is what? Displacement upon time. Right? Linear velocity is equal to
displacement.
So which displacement? Linear displacement upon time. So just consider object is moving with angular velocity omega. Object is moving with angular velocity omega. And when object will complete one cycle, so angle will be how much? 2 pi. 360. 360 is equivalent to 2 pi. Consider कि initial position is this, and after completing one cycle, whatever time taken by that object is known as time period, and that is denoted by T, capital T. So you have angular velocity omega, angular displacement 2 pi, and time taken to complete one cycle is capital T. So similarly, V will be replaced by, and X will be replaced by 2 pi, angular displacement, right?
Yes.
And time is capital T, right?
Yes.
So omega is equal to what? 2 pi by T. So there is relation of angular velocity with time.
Time.
So sometimes you have to calculate time period. Okay. So in that case, what you will try? You will try to convert linear velocity in terms of angular velocity, because angular velocity has relation with time period. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one. You know, frequency is, listen, frequency is 1 upon time period. Reciprocal of time period is nothing but frequency. So simply meaning of frequency is what? Listen, we will discuss frequency. Listen, frequency means number of cycle. Cycle means oscillation. Number of cycle per second. Yes or no?
Yes.
Number of cycle per second. Suppose any fan is rotating 5 round in 1 second. So means frequency of that fan is 5, right? So just consider an object is moving on a circular track, right?
Yes.
And that object has completed 1 cycle, right? In time period t. 1 cycle in t second. Understood?
Yes.
1 cycle in t second. So number of cycle in 1 second, not t second. What you have learned? Number of cycle per second is known as frequency. So number of cycle per second is known as frequency. So by using unitary method, what you can write? You can write in t second, object is completing 1 cycle.
Yes.
So hence, in 1 second, object will complete less than 1 cycle. So 1 upon what? T. So number of cycle in 1 second is nothing but what? Frequency. So means you can write hence frequency is equal to what? 1 upon the time period. Yes or no?
Yes.
Noted? Listen. Actually, we are learning some basics so that this topic can be completed easily, right?
Sir, can I diagnose for the
PDF file.
no, for this velocity?
Okay, no problem. After class, you can take this PDF file also.
Okay.
Completed?
Yes, sir.
Listen. Omega is equal to 2 pi by t. Right?
Yes.
But frequency is 1 upon time period.
Yes.
Right? So can I write omega is equal to 2 pi as it is, and 1 by t is nothing but what?
Frequency.
So 2 pi into what?
Frequency. Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. Next, you know centripetal force is equal to mv square by r, or mr omega square, right? So listen, what is meaning of centripetal force, right?
Mhm.
So you said, sir, when object will move on a circular track, force will act towards the center, and that force is known as centripetal force. But sometimes centripetal force may be gravitational force. Gravitational force. Listen first. Sometimes centripetal force may be gravitational force. You can say, I didn't understand. Just consider Earth is revolving around the sun. So in that case, Earth having mass, sun having mass, and there is distance between two masses. So there will be force of attraction, and that force is known as what? Gravitational force. So in that case, basically centripetal force is nothing but what?
No.
Gravitational force, right?
Yes.
Sometimes this centripetal force may be electrical force. Electrical force. You can say, so give me example. Just consider electron is revolving around the nucleus. So in that case, at the center there are positive charges and electron having negative charges. Means what? Means what?
Attract the electron.
There is electrical force.
Yes.
Because two charges are separated at a distance. So there will be, understood?
Yes, sir.
So electrical force. Okay. Next one. Sometimes this centripetal force is nothing but friction force. Friction force. Centripetal force may be friction force. I am giving you one example. Just consider on this circular track. Means just consider there is a turning. So in case of turning, some vehicle is moving. So in that case, friction force is nothing but what? Centripetal force, right? Sometimes centripetal force may be tension. Right? In which applications that will be tension? Just consider consider a object is moving on a circular track, right? Object is moving on a circular track, but that object is attached with a string.
Okay.
Means some person is standing here half an hour, right? And that person has binded a stone and making a circle. So towards the center, centripetal force will act, and that centripetal force is nothing but what? Tension.
Okay.
So in this case, tension is nothing but what? Centripetal force. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Tension is nothing but what? Centripetal force. Sometimes centripetal force may be normal reaction. You know normal reaction? Don't know what is normal reaction? Consider this is surface and a block is placed on this surface having mass m. A force mg will act towards the downward. That object should go inside the earth, but in real life that is not happening. ऐसा हो रहा है क्या? No. Means a force is acting, another force is acting opposite to vertically downward force, right?
Yes.
So that force is acting perpendicular to the surface, and that force is known as normal reaction. If normal reaction will be greater, that object will move in upward direction, and if mg will greater, that object will move in downward direction. Yes or no? So this is normal reaction. Now you can say how centripetal force can be normal reaction. Just consider a circular container, right? Consider a circular container. An object is making a circle within that container. Yes or no? So what I said, always normal reaction will act perpendicular to surface. So consider here surface is cylindrical. Yes or no?
Yes.
So in case of cylinder, perpendicular will be what? Towards the center. So in this case, towards the center, acting normal reaction. And this normal reaction is nothing but what? Centripetal force. So that's why I am saying centripetal force may be normal reaction. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now you can say who will balance this centripetal force? So container will balance. Means a force will act in outward direction also. Mg will act in downward direction. So that Mg will also balance by some force. We will learn later on. Next, gravitation, electrical, friction force, normal reaction, tension. Okay. Next. Noted? Okay. Right now, fast. Noted?
I will do later.
Okay. Next. Now we can start topic based on circular motion with the help of NLM and friction. Listen. First topic. A stuntman is performing stunts Well of, have you seen well of death? Means in circus, there is a cylindrical wall,
Okay.
cylindrical wall,
Yes, yes.
and a person is doing a stunt, and during that stunt, uh, he will make a circular path using bike.
Yes.
Okay, so that is known as well of
Death.
death, right?
Yes.
Same like this. Okay, so we have to calculate minimum velocity
Okay.
with which that a stuntman can make a circular path. Yes or no?
Yes.
So how you can calculate? Listen, I am giving you two trick. Okay,
Yes, sir.
always use this trick. First trick, find centripetal force. What I said?
Centripetal force.
You can say, yeah, I know formula of centripetal force. I am not saying formula of centripetal force.
Yeah.
What I am saying, ki whatever example, yeah, whatever situation you have given, so in that situation, find centripetal force is gravitational force or electrical force or friction force or tension or normal reaction. Means you have to find this situation you have given. In that situation, centripetal force is which force out of these, right? Okay. Number two, balance vertical force. What I said? Balance vertical force. So you have to apply two tricks. You can calculate minimum velocity. Listen. Right? Consider that a stuntman is here, right? With bike and making horizontal circle. Yes or no?
Yes.
Making horizontal circle in that cylindrical ball. So a force will act towards the center, and that force is known as centripetal force. Yes or no?
Yes.
So in this case, centripetal force is which force?
Normal.
Normal reaction.
Normal reaction.
So you can write centripetal force is nothing but what?
Normal reaction.
Normal reaction. Yes or no?
Yes.
Simply. So make a equation. Formula of centripetal force
Square.
upon
R.
R. mp square upon R is equal to what? M. Right?
Okay.
Equation number 1.
Okay.
Okay. Next one. mg will act in downward direction. Yes or no?
Yes.
mg will act in downward direction. So if mg will act in downward direction, that person will slip in downward direction. But a force is acting in upward direction, which force is balancing that person. Yes or no? That force is balancing that person so that he could not fall down. And that force is known as which force? Friction force. Yes or no? Now, for safety purpose, what I am saying, you can say mg should be equal to friction force. Mg should be equal to friction force. Yes or no? So mg should be equal to friction force. But just consider friction force may be greater than mg for safety purpose. So minimum friction force should be equal to mg. Yes or no? But more safety, for more safety, friction force should be greater than mg. Right? So can I write for safety, or safety, friction force, I have written R in base to show friction. Don't write like this F into R. Yes or no? So friction force is equal to friction force should be greater than or equal to mg. Right? So you know friction force is nothing but what? Mu into n. Already we have learned mu into n. So mu into n is equal to what? Not is equal to, is greater and equal to mg. Yes or no? Write down value of n. N is nothing but what? mv square upon r. So from equation 1, n is what? Upon r. Hence, what you can write? Mu into n. N is nothing but what? mv square r. Right? The mv square by r is equal to, not equal to, greater and equal to. Greater and equal to. What? mg. Cancel m. Yes or no? Take r right side. So and mu in denominator. So you can write v square is equal v square is greater and equal to r upon mu. Yes or no? Rg upon mu. So what? You have to calculate minimum velocity. Means you can write velocity minimum, so that a stunt man can make a perfect horizontal circle. Minimum velocity should be greater or equal to root under Rg upon mu. Is it clear? Yes, sir. Okay. Noted? Okay. Next. what you are observing,
Mm.
velocity is not dependent on mass.
Mass.
Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Means what? Not dependent on mass of the person and
So the
types of vehicle or mass of the means that vehicle may be bike or car. Yes or no? Okay. Another one. What is meaning of V minimum?
is with the velocity to complete one place.
Means that person having minimum velocity root rg upon mu, so that that person can make a stunt safely. Otherwise, that person can't perform the stunt safely. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Next, write down V minimum. Depend on mass of the person. Yes or no?
Yes.
And vehicle. Next, second point, conical pendulum. Second point. Conical pendulum. So conical pendulum means what? Just consider I am moving this object. What you are observing? That is making a cone. Yes or no? This type. Object is moving on this path. So cone. Why cone? You can say, sir, this is circular path. No. Just observe. Position is here and making like this. Cone. Right? Conical pendulum. Another one pendulum is simple pendulum. Right? So we have to learn conical pendulum. So in this topic, we have to calculate time period of conical pendulum. Yes or no?
Yes.
Time period of conical pendulum. Okay. Just first draw the diagram. Angle is known as theta. Right?
Yes.
Object is here and making circular path. Just consider tension will act in this direction. Tension T. Right? mg will act vertically
Yes.
downward. Which force will balance this mg? Component of tension. Angle is theta. So this angle is also theta. So take component of T. What you can write? T cos theta. Yes or no?
Yes.
And in horizontal direction, component will be T sin theta. Yes or no?
Yes.
I am talking about force. Component of tension T cos theta is balancing mg. And T sin theta is acting towards the center. So T sin theta is nothing but what? Centripetal force. T sin theta is nothing but what? Centripetal force. Now, just consider length of pendulum is L. Length of pendulum is L. So component of L along vertical is what? L cos theta. And along horizontal is? Means you can say radius is nothing but what?
Sin theta.
Very good. L sin theta. Right? So we have to calculate two factor. Time period. Right? And angle. Two quantity we will calculate. Time period and angle. So just apply that trick. First trick is what? Find centripetal force. So what you are observing? Centripetal force is what?
T sin theta.
So T sin theta. T sin theta is nothing but what?
Centripetal force.
Centripetal force. So value of centripetal force?
mv square by r.
mv square by r. Equation number 1. Very good. And second trick, balance vertical force. What you have to balance? Vertical force. Go through this trick. Where is that trick? Find centripetal force, balance vertical force. It is vertical force. Right. So T cos theta is equal to mg. Actually, trigonometric function is towards right hand side. So right to try trigonometric function towards right hand side. Not write mg is equal to T cos theta. Because again you have to replace that.
Yes.
LHS into RHS, RHS into LHS. So write what? T cos theta is equal to what? Equation number 2.
Equal to
Equal to mg. So divide both equation. T will cancel. Divide. Equation 1 by 2. T will cancel, right? T cancel. Sin theta by cos theta. Tan theta is equal to mm कैंसल. इसको मैं दिखा देता हूँ नहीं तो फिर कंफ्यूज होगा. mm तो v स्क्वायर अपॉन r नहीं rg.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
v स्क्वायर अपॉन rg. तो tan theta is equal to what? v square upon what? rg. So what you are getting? Tan theta is equal to v square upon rg. Theta is the angle made with vertical. Theta is angle made with vertical. So you can write hence theta is equal to what? Inverse V square upon RC. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Tan inverse
Hmm.
V square upon RC.
Uh,
RG. Okay. Next, but we have to calculate what? Time period. So for time period, linear velocity will be replaced by angular velocity.
Angular.
Okay. So we have what? We have tan theta is equal to what? V square upon RG. V square upon
RG.
yes or no?
Yes.
But we have tan theta is equal to V square upon RG. But tan theta is equal to what?
And
Sin theta upon cos theta. And V square is equal to what? R square omega square. So after putting this value, tan theta is equal to sin theta upon
cos theta.
right. V square is nothing but what?
Square omega square.
Omega square upon R into G. R cancel. R. So just put
Sin
upon cos theta.
R omega square.
R is nothing but what? L sin theta. Upon what? G. And omega square means 2 pi by T whole square. Understood? Cancel sin theta. What you are getting?
First
G upon L cos theta. Can I write?
yes.
Is equal to 2 pi by T whole square. Take inverse. Or you can write upon 2 pi whole square is equal to right T upon 2 pi is equal to what? Root L cos theta upon G. Hence T is equal to
2 pi
2 pi root L cos theta by G. So we have calculated angle as well as time period. This is the time period in case of conical pendulum. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir, completed.